Hey everybody, welcome back to one of Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Macross 7. How about you go and remind us of what happened last time?
Last time was Men, episode 22, Men of Burning Passion. For some inexplicable reason, other than the writers needed to something to happen, Macross 7 City, or Block City 7, wanders into a nearby star, which apparently nobody was able to see. The giant screens in front of them, and it's, getting roasted by the radiation of the star. So the gang has to save the city. Mayor Amelia is trying all the kinds of tricks, including having the artificial rain come in so that it cools the city, etc. But it also the outer banks have to be evacuated because they don't have the same services. So meanwhile, we have an attack by the enemy shows up, as well as the Battle 7 trying to reach them before it's too late because they finally were able to home in on City 7 somehow by using Dr. Shiba's technology to track the music that was being played by Basara and Firebomber. How convenient. Of course, they're always singing, so I guess that's, like it's a new episode. They're going to sing. So they get tracked down, find the location. City's Battle 7 shows up. The enemy shows up. There is a battle. There's a malfunction. Um, So also we have Sybil shows up as well, who tries to once again connect with Basara, but gets overwhelmed by her emotions and leaves finally. Um, Battle 7 nearly wipes out the Giggles fleet. It's the one who shows up with the bendy laser beams that they fire for some reason. I mean, I guess they never heard of turrets. I guess if you can bend light that way, it doesn't really matter. Battle 7 does the whole Superman carry thing where it tries to push away the um, the City 7, while Basara and what's his name? Gamblin do repairs on City 7 so they can, jump away. And at the very end, at the very last minute, hooray, everything is saved. They jump away and both are saved. The end. Did I miss something? I don't think I
No,
missed
no, I
anything.
mean, that sounds right. Because my main thought was when you mentioned that they're constantly singing, and you remember a long time ago, I brought out the idea of there being this background thing, this background like radiation or something that they're going to be singing to, that would indicate, the same way that, shoot, what's her name? Vividis
Mhm.
is constantly drumming to a beat, and then it might be a beat that's like the background hum of the universe. I don't know how to describe it. I was about to start trying to go into string theory, but um, that everybody can hear that's attuned to it. That's the same way that Ray, sitting in the middle of a raining park, can sing
Mhm.
in tune with Basara, who's out in space playing his guitar. That sort of thing. That they seem to have some sort of, I almost said subversive, some sort of inherent connection to a beat that only they can hear.
I mean, true,
Well, how else does
but if they,
Dr. Chiba Superman hearing his way into.
I mean, they could. I mean, the problem is if you go in simply radio transmissions, I mean, they have to be super luminal, and I guess they're transmitting,
I mean,
but
it
that
takes
means everybody
time.
can listen.
Radio
Uh,
transmissions take time to reach distant
I
locations.
mean, you do have instantaneous communications in this universe
Well, you said radio.
between,
I'm just
but
saying.
yeah. So, but we don't know if the VF-19 is equipped with that kind of thing, or is City 7
Well,
transmitting.
clearly it's not because it
Well,
shoots people with speaker pods.
yeah. So,
Also, we know
and
that
also,
the City 7 transmission doesn't apply because they couldn't communicate with Battle 7.
you wouldn't need the whole setup that Dr. Chiba sets up just to get a regular transmission. There's a vacuum of space That's what you need the speaker pods
I
for.
mean, even if you're like arguing that they could detect that sound in a lesser vacuum or something, that would travel
Yeah.
slower than even the radio transmission.
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting into space magic territory here,
Like I
which is
said,
not unusual in Macross, but it's
I'm thinking my theory about there being some sort of background frequency that is just they're making music out of it is the best explanation I can get. Because otherwise it's Superman's up in the watchtower. Oh, my mother's making lasagna. That's some weird stupid shit. Oh, it
yeah,
sounds like they're
we get
fighting on Mars. Something.
yeah, very Silver Age comic book kind of thing. Uh, yeah, it's we're getting into space magic territory, which we have been before in Macross Zero. Although
Technically,
that was
that was
chucked up.
Earth magic.
Yeah, well, protoculture, super technology, but still,
Yeah, I'm talking about Sarah singing and floating
yeah.
rocks. That all happened on Earth. We didn't even know aliens existed yet. Well, I guess we kind of did.
I
We
mean, there
didn't.
was the
There was a spaceship,
ASS.
but we didn't see anything.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, I have the board here, but the board really only has like one thing added because obviously nobody knew here. I added orange lines just to represent everybody that Civil takes over in case that turns out to be a thing.
Yeah.
Because I was going back through my when I was making my notes, because obviously my notes are just a little bit behind everything right now,
Hmm.
and I thought to myself, man, what happens after Sybil lets you go? Because obviously Sybil is eating the spiritual of everybody um, when they're taking over a body, but apparently that spiritual don't stay in them because Sybil is mostly energy apparently. Because they call her mostly energy when they're like going over the tapes of all their shit being destroyed when she first appears.
Hmm.
There's an
Hmm.
energy being out there. Well, Rex just gets up and walks away. So I have get again, my notes are one episode behind. So I know that she leaves Akiko in the episode you were just describing. So
Hmm.
I haven't had the chance to go back over that one yet.
Yeah,
But
because Akiko was they were doing a recording in Bazara's, well, the bands, because they all live there except for Eileen, building of sorts, right? Just kind of the dilapidated building that they live in.
right, well, I mean
So they
that
were
she
recording.
they took over Akiko the episode before that, but she's still in Akiko by the end of that episode. So like I said, I haven't gotten to the last episode when I'm making my notes, so I don't have a
Yeah.
anything to say about that one. But again, we saw Rex just like get back up again after she leaves her, so I don't assume Akiko is going to be having any problems.
No, at least she doesn't. Her possession ability and her vampire spiritual ability. And I think also remember now that we have a name for the enemy, the Proto Devilin.
Devlin, yeah,
Yeah,
I sent you that
so we
joke
should start.
earlier.
Yeah, we should start calling them that because that's what they are. Uh, but there it is,
It's not
and
that the
yeah,
anti-Devlin was the bad guy in Twilight.
I didn't watch Twilight or read the books.
I don't know. The name strikes a bell with me somewhere. I know I've read or seen something called Anti-Devlin, and now we have the Proto-Devlin. So I know something about the opposite Devlin and the original Devlin and the Duke Devlin.
Or not the Pro Devlin. We haven't them. We have the first Devlin, but not the people who are in favor of the Devlin.
I don't know that one.
Anyway, so that's what happens. And once again, we demonstrate that while the enemy has a whole spiritual thing, you know, Battle 7 has a big gun. and again wiped out an entire fleet with a single shot because
I
that's what
mean,
they do.
to be fair, I think Civil could take out Battle 7.
I mean, yeah,
We saw her
I
fly through
suppose.
a ship already. She's like Captain Marvel.
Yeah, kind of doing the trick from the
Well,
last Avenger movie.
I mean, I don't know how many examples I could pull from that. She's the Star Crusher from Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, any example you have of just something flying through another thing that
Yeah,
it's stronger than.
yeah.
All right, well,
I have bad memories of that book. That was a
I only
that
actually
was a bad.
ever read the part where it was flying through a thing. I never read the whole book.
Yeah, I did
Like the
back in
description
my
of it, like flying through a star destroyer, and everyone's like, "Ah, my fucking ears," because the inside of the
yeah
thing was not built very well.
yeah. It was a thing. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, well, I got a couple of notes here from previous episodes to go over. So episode 20 actually showed us Macross 1 and Macross 5, both of which were over what looked like habitable planets, which makes sense given that the text of the narrator was that the goal of the Macross fleets, sorry, that was the goal of the Macross fleets. Macross 7 is the only one that we know that is specifically said to be heading towards the galactic core before anything else, which is also the path of the Mega Road, if I'm recalling correctly. So I guess Max took over the one Macross fleet heading in the direction that his friends went in 28 years ago. 35 years ago by the time of the show. Sorry, I realized when I said 28 years ago when he took over the project, 35 years ago today. I know we only talked about the Macross 5 in the thing, but they actually showed Macross 1 and 5, so.
Which is not the Mega Road. The Mega Road was the first fleet,
Yeah, well,
colony
the Mega
fleet.
Road also looked like a giant fucking brick.
Yeah,
Macross 1 looked like our Macross fleet series ships.
yeah, the Macross series of
And
class of
I only
ships,
brought up the
actually.
Mega Road because of the direction thing. You know, we're following them.
Yeah.
It very much looked like it was Macross 5 that Lord Gepernick. Am I saying their name right? Let me just take a quick gander again. Gepernick, okay. I guess while I was taking my notes, they like spelled it differently in whatever episode I was watching. That Lord Gepernick was looking at on the viewer when they said that the AGF fleet leader confirmed it had sampled similar to the other groups. I only say that due to the fact that they appear to be reusing animation of Macross 5, or at least in a similar way, that at least looked different to where Macross 1 was. So they showed us Macross 1. I guess the Proto Devlin have yet to find Macross 1. But implying that they're showing it to us, which I don't know. I don't know what that means. Given that we get told about the Galactic Network during a recent episode, I think it would be obvious to think that such a thing wouldn't have existed during the time of the Mega Road, which I assume would mean that unless you got inside of a solar system's distance away from it, you wouldn't be able to communicate with it. Plus, if it's still around, it's riding blind to all of humanity's advancements. You looked like you had a thought there.
No,
Just,
no, no, no. It's just. I mean, it kind of makes sense. If they're the first ones out there, they probably will be the ones trying to set up such a thing, as opposed to be the ones who can benefit from it.
well, I mean,
Although we don't know if it's also based on Centrati technology, right? Because Centrati also have a way to communicate vast distances. So perhaps they had their own network and they
if
got co-opted.
I recall correctly, we never saw that. Every time that like Britai needed to go back, it was because somebody had jumped in, told him,
To tell
"Hey, I
them.
got a message from Gold," and then he leaves, and nobody knows what's going on back there.
Yeah.
Because I guess folding is just a really good, messenger system. But
That
otherwise,
makes it
yeah,
does.
I mean, it kind of comes from the era that they were in, where it's like all radio transmissions. So,
Yeah, it also doesn't. If they didn't have it, they wouldn't have created it. That probably is a human creation. Like, yeah, we're gonna,
I mean, even if you did, even if you somehow simultaneously created your own, like, I don't know what to call it, vast communication system, you wouldn't kind of know how to tune in to the other one. Like, if two people independently created radios, the chances of them hitting each other's broadcast 1 to 1 really hard. I don't even know if you're on AM. I'm on FM. I don't know if kids even know AM anymore.
Hmm. Or FM for that matter.
True. I guess Sybil retains the knowledge of her hosts. She was able to ride a motorcycle when riding in Rex and knew the music industry when riding in Akiko. I'm just saying, it doesn't strike me that Sybil knows how to ride a motorcycle on her own.
But it seems also that her control is something. I mean, she's in there, she's controlling them, but she kind of lets the host sort of do the mundane things. Like she gives direction, but it's not seems to be one to one. Because when they're talking, and all of a sudden they're talking normally, and then Sybil says, "Oh, I'm going to take more of take more direct control," and they kind of change the way they act and whatever, right? So she's like, I'm watching. Okay, now I'm going to take control, right?
I don't know. I would attribute it all to Sybil myself.
Mm.
Like like a person walking around in a haze, it feels like. That they just kind of really don't know what they're doing. Like Akiko, after she eats Paul, I don't know what to say, absorbs Paul, goes, "Oh, that's right, I was going to a meeting." Not like Akiko had finally come back, but more like Sybil is like, "What is this girl doing right now? Where's she supposed to be?" I don't know. It's how I read it, but I don't really get a lot of information on what's going on. No internal Sybil monologue.
Yeah.
I have to wonder if Sybil exposing the chest of people that they're inhabiting isn't more than fan service or seduction. Rex actually seemed like she had discomfort in her chest before she unzipped. She only unzipped moments before going to kiss Basara, which we know would have led to her draining him of spiritua. Given that he was knocked out at the time, opening her shirt really served no purpose in seduction, making more sense to me if it was some sort of pain from inhabiting a body or even overheating. It would go a slight ways towards explaining her default outfit, which also seems to be open around the chest, or at least having a different material there.
You chalk it to fan service.
I don't think so. Again, I'm Rex showed actual chest pain before she unzipped.
Yeah, but the chest pain could also be the other. It could be part of her O phase. So
But we see that. There's no reason to do both. I mean, and again, who's she seducing? Basara is asleep. It doesn't make sense, and I'm gonna err on the side of they've got something. They've been sprinkling a mystery all throughout. I gotta think that this is building to something else.
okay. I mean, I don't see it, but sure.
Well, I mean, it's a bit different when it comes to Akiko. Akiko just wears a fucking open shirt. All she did was lean forwards. I think the Rex thing actually shows intent. Ray and Vivitus saw Sybil's energy ball flying away from the direction Rex drove off in, and to a lesser extent, so did Guvava. That's just a comment in itself to let you know who saw what.
But I think Guava, talking about building up to something, Guava is an alien. We established that because it was a gift from Max to Mylene. They found, and she said he found it in some kind of planet. He certainly has a connection with Mylene. whether it's smell or something like that. Like a cat or something, and a
But
dog.
you mean the thing that where it tracked her down?
Yeah.
As I said
But
before, Viphitus also has done that.
but also I think that he can because he I say he because that's kind of they recognize kind of detects when things are wrong with when there people are getting possessed. Like I think he reacted to Akiko. It was like,
Not
this is
all the
bad.
time. It doesn't react all the time. It reacted like right at the end when Rex
Yeah,
was
when no he yeah, but he did. Yeah. So he's sensitive to stuff like this. So maybe he's an alien that has some kind of connection to this as well. I don't know.
I don't think so. I feel like they just kind of like don't animate Guvava when they don't need them in the scene, but otherwise it's like, look at that. They didn't appear anywhere in the entire time Rex was being controlled right up until Rex runs out of the building past Mylene. Otherwise, they've been in scenes together. Guvava just didn't show up. Same thing for Kiko. I don't remember Guvava doing anything. Again, my point was more so that we've brought up this Guvava thing before, and Viphitus does the exact same thing. Where's Mylene? And Viphitus, who's been nowhere around to have seen where Mylene's gone, is pointing directions in the car with her drumsticks. So,
Yeah, that was a bit awkward.
well, I'm attributing it more to that thing that I said before about there being some sort of background radiation thing that they're all tied to. That maybe Mylene's tied into it now too. So some of them are just more attuned than others.
Hmm.
The word that I missed in the opening of episode 21 was spiritual. Spiritua is human spiritual energy, whatever the fuck that means.
It is shaped like itself.
Now, I thought it was going to be an important word that I missed, and it was not. It was spiritual. Let's see. Pissarra has a Spiritua Chord C that makes him unique, but Anima Spiritua as well. The only other people with Anima Spiritua being Flower Girl, who doesn't speak, apparently Akiko, and possibly Mylene. They're like the first people that she goes after the moment she sees Flower Girl has Anima Spiritua. So we definitely know Flower Girl has it. Let's see. Civil took on an entire SWAT sniper group on an open roof in the episode where Gamlin pulls a Die Hard. But when she wants to inhabit Akiko, she hides in an air vent. To Civil, a room of record executives is scarier than an armed group of snipers.
I don't think it was fear. I think she was playing it smart. She doesn't want people to know that she's aboard Akiko. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
it.
same reason that she jumped through a window to attack the mayor.
No, but I think that in this case it was like she wants to get close to Basara, and she's just playing it smart. She just goes in, sneak like nobody knows. She gets close to him and does what is the business and leaves. Not that she's afraid of anything.
I
It's just like she's
would
just playing.
possibly agree with you if we'd ever seen her observing the fact that Akiko is around Basara. She has just crawled into a vent. Akiko is in a room full of record executives, no Basara. Why would she even think that this woman would be around them?
I mean, or she doesn't want to erase the alarm, for some reason.
Again, jump through a window to attack the mayor. This woman is not subtle. She like does everything in broad daylight. Remember, two on top of the same episode, she's on top of the building, and two like I guess repairmen. I'm not even sure what they're doing.
Mhm.
Just show up. He's like, ha! Right out in the open. She walks through the middle of the street. Like her very first appearance, she's walking down the street in the middle of everybody. Which I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, but they're not like afraid of her or anything. She is not subtle. That's the whole point of me writing that out. Is why was she in an air vent? The only thing I can think of is she was like, it's cool in here. I don't. It is not fit her character at all. The symbol in front of where Lord Geppernick sits, kinda looks like it might be a 3. The previous opening showed us Macross 1 and Macross 5. We know that they are out there looking for habitable planets. We know that the people that went missing, that the Proto-Devlin got their stuff from, was from an expedition to the Voruta system.
Mhm.
I'm just going to say that it's not impossible that this Proto-Devlin fleet might not be Macross Three's fleet.
I mean, it might be something that they already had. The technology of the ships doesn't seem to be, the kind of technology the humans have. It's the fighters and the troops are clearly human, so they took them from somewhere, right? We don't know the size of the fleet that they went to this planet, so it could have been
Probably
thousand, 100,000, millions. I don't know.
half of what it was by now. Who knows? They got hit twice by Macross Beam. I'm just throwing it out there. I like to be right about things, so put out a lot of
Yeah, but
thoughts.
I don't. I
But
think what they took the variable technology from them, because even the fighters themselves are not. They're their own thing. Like they copy the technology rather than they just took the fighters because they're not fighting uh BF-11s or something like that. They're just fighting things that they're fighting their own version of the thing,
oh, you said
right?
VF11. Sorry,
Yeah,
I think you
yeah.
said BF11, and I was like, oh fuck, now you're just throwing out things I don't even know.
I know. I mean, there's some. I mean, never mind. I'm just gonna get into the whole, Valkyrie classification system. Um, but yeah, they have their own fighters, right? They're like, oh, this appears, so they copy the technology, kind of like the Soviets copying the Americans or the Chinese copying the Soviets, right? It's like, oh yeah, these guys have a fighter. We need a similar fighter. Let's make our own version of it. Kind of looks like the same, but not really, because the ships that the proto devil ugh, it's a tongue twister. Have they're non Centrati. They don't look like human ships, and they have this light bending technology thing when they fire their guns. So clearly, that's not the same technology. And also, they were shocked when the Macross 7 transforms and pulls out his giant gun and just wipes out like a third of their fleet. Like, oh, that's new. Let's get the hell out of here.
Well, I mean, we don't know if the other Macrosses can do that. I mean, you might assume, but we never seen it. Also, if they're not human or the humans amongst them are being like brain controlled,
Mhm.
they might just not know. Who's gonna tell them? If if it is
I mean,
if it is Macross 3 and Macross 3 never did it, like they fell before it ever happened, then how would they know?
I'm saying that they did capture humans who used them as soldiers. That much we know.
Yeah, the soldiers are being
Right.
brainwashed. They're like
Yeah.
zombie soldiers.
But the rest of the tech either is co-opted or their own tech that has nothing to do with existing tech, other than they copied the transformable fighters. So,
Unless
which, by the way,
Macross
don't.
3 was a prototype.
I mean, if that were the case, the first indication would have been, oh, we're not being attacked by aliens. It was like, are we being attacked by Macross 3? What the hell's
Oh,
going on here?
you mean that thing where FOMO says in like the first episode, "Oh, this looks familiar." You know,
Yeah,
FOMO,
but he doesn't
the
say
source
it
of
does
all mysteries.
he doesn't say what it is, right? He
No,
doesn't
he
ain't say
doesn't.
anything.
Annoyingly,
So,
no, he
but
doesn't.
but but I would think that Genius would go like, or the computer's like, oh yeah, this has a silhouette of a fighter we know. Why are we being attacked by UN forces,
I
right?
mean,
What's going on?
to be fair, they attacked them, right? And the computer didn't say, "Oh, these have the silhouettes of known forces." They had to do multiple episodes of research to find out we know these fighters. The computer never said that, so the fact that the computer doesn't say it implies that the computer is not like a Star Trek computer. It's not going to read anything out to us. Uh, I just love this show. I love this. Look, they had to do research on the fighters. I appreciate that. The computer told them shit. And the fact that Max doesn't say it, well, Max took over the Macross 7 project. Who knows how long before Macross 3 may have launched. And my complaints about experimental technology not panning out have been littered throughout the show, specifically the fold booster that we saw 5 years back in Macross Plus, which apparently has gotten worse, and that has a
Uh,
50-50 chance to work.
Also, the one thing we don't see the enemy fighters do is a gear walk.
No,
They're in their
because why
fighter
would
mode
you?
or they're. I mean,
What's the
gear
benefit of the
walk does
Gerwalk?
it has some benefits landing stuff like that, especially when attacking people on the ground. Yeah, it has some benefits to that, but
Seems
not
like
that
it's
many.
still easier to humanoid mode. Hell, if I call her Milia and Basar are to be believed, it's harder to pilot the Gerwalk mode. Again, you have the arms in humanoid mode, and apparently you have easier to reach weapons. I don't know. It seems like all that shit that folds out, like for the missile launchers or the gun ejection system and everything, it's just easier to do in humanoid mode. You have just a superfluous second form that looks bad too.
I mean, I like gear walk.
Sure, I'm sure Hunchback of Notre Dame had at least one fan. Well, I'm saying it's just a bad looking form. I've brought up to you before that Gundam has like at least two or three in the shows that I've watched, like Gundam Double O, wherever. A Gundam that is basically Gearwalk or a jet. It's like, oh, you picked the worst one of the two forms you could have picked. Can you imagine Starscream turning into a Gerwalk?
Yeah, I can.
No, he goes jet or human. It's the two obvious options. I don't know what Gerwalk adds. I know I'm harping now. I'm going to move on. The fact that Civil Akiko doesn't know where Basara met Ray implies that real Akiko doesn't know. The person that knows the most about Ray doesn't know where Basara comes from. Following on, Civil Rex asking Basara where he comes from, and Basara just singing a song about it, meaning it is an intentional mystery we are supposed to be thinking about.
I mean, he could be a clone
Of who? Or do
of
you mean
someone
he
else.
could be a my clone? Oh, thank you for that. He could be a clone of who? Somebody else.
I mean, the thing
You
is,
must be a writer of the 6th Day movie.
no. I mean, we know that the reason why humanity expanded so quickly was A, because they absorbed a lot of centrality, and B, because they used cloning. So he could be one of these millions of clones that were used especially to expand humanity. It also might explain why he's an unregistered citizen, which actually made that he's an unregistered citizen in an unregistered part of the Macross of the City 7 ship, which is
Yeah,
attached to it.
because that ship is unregistered and everybody that came with it's unregistered. They're like the trash part of the fleet. I don't know why. And you said we know about the cloning thing. They've never actually said anything about cloning in the show. We kind of just like made that up on our own.
I
That's
mean,
been our theory because they have my cloning or my clones, which implies that the Centrati aren't like they don't. I think we had the theory that the Centrati don't have default short people versions. They just like
yeah.
made a clone and then inhabited the body, and that if they could do that, then we could just clone normal people too. I'm just saying, I think it's been our fan theory, basically, unless you know future knowledge and you're just trying to cover it under this whole they have clones thing.
I mean, it's okay, both future knowledge and also outside knowledge. Apocrypha, if you will. Um,
Well, again, beyond that, it's just been a thing that we've said back and forth. There's been nothing on the show has happened yet beyond my clones, and we haven't even seen those things anymore. Sorry. When I say we haven't seen those things, I don't mean we haven't seen my clones. Obviously, all folk know the place. I mean the. You remember like near the very end of SDF Macross, where they're like, we're gonna remove the myclone chambers from the city, and they're like, no, that's how we do things, and they have a whole
Yeah,
fight. Yeah,
yeah,
we haven't seen any myclone chambers, but they must be there because if you recall, the two guys over here on the board are only
no,
giant Centrati still around, and I gotta assume
yeah,
they only did that for the movie,
yeah, and then shrunk them back again.
which also implies that they have a myclone chamber.
I mean, they're one and the same.
That we mean they're one and the same.
I mean, if they were my clones that were Centrati, pure blood Centrati, that got you know
No,
made
no, I'm
full
saying that
size
they had
to
to have a myclone chamber for them to do
yeah,
that. They don't like
yeah,
Sentai superheroes with just go
yeah.
big.
And we do know that there's significant amounts of Centrati citizens as well. The whole thing, they try to take over the ship, right? So
I'm assuming if they
I was,
kept all those Batroids all over the place, that there must be at least one or two myclone chambers.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that'll be a thing when we get a bunch of the whatever civil is flying around, and then there's a Trotty go to their myclone chambers, and we get giants and Trotty like Godzillaing and King Kong their way through a civil army. All right, my last thought here. Ray, Basara, and Mylene are all staring at Civil Akiko during one of her flare-ups. Her eyes glow yellow, and the gem-like thing in the middle of her forehead glows. She even breathes out some green smoke effect. No one does anything, except Mylene, who goes to ask what she should do about Basara. But Akiko goes to kiss her and drain her, but an alarm goes off, Mylene escapes, and still doesn't do anything. Now, also keep in mind that it was also Ray and Vafitas that saw, Rex drive off and the whole light thing come out of her, which means that
Did they
Ray got
actually?
a
I
double
don't think they
dose.
actually see that.
No,
Did
they
they
did.
actually see that?
Yeah, Ray comments that's weird, or he makes a verbal comment about it, but they both actually look off and their eyes follow the globe thing
Yeah,
fly
but I
off.
don't think they saw her separate from Rex. They just, because Rex drives off somewhere else,
I mean, like
and
it
then that
happens
happened.
immediately. It's not like it'd be like if I walked around a corner and then a light ball flew around the corner. Rex just like made one turn, crashed, and then went up. Sorry, civil separated and then went up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this show also has a lot of the idiot ball as well to cover up.
again, my point is like Akiko's like, and then they're all like just looking at her, and she's got like lights coming out of her face and green smoke coming out of her nose, and they're like. She runs out, and then Mylene's like, I better go talk to her about my relationship problems with Basara. And then she
I
goes and,
mean,
like, she's right there, and she's, like, green smoke still. And so I think her eyes are a light still. And she goes to, like, I assume she's not trying to take over her body. I'm assuming she's doing the spiritual
uh,
drain. The alarm goes off, they get a little thrown off, and she's like, ha ha ha, never mind, runs off. Like she understands that she was in danger, but she just runs off and tells nobody.
I don't think she actually knew that she was in danger. She was like, "Oh, I gotta go because this, we gotta play the music when the alarms go off because that's what we do."
No, I think she knows she's in danger because the moment the lights start coming out of Kiko's face, they do a thing where her eyes just go dull, like she's been put under. And then when the alarms go off, Akiko was like right here, glowing in her face. And that's when she like says everything in a hyper kind of way, like I'm in trouble. I better get out of here.
Mm, I mean, that's one way to read it. I don't know if that's. I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't
She
get rid
doesn't
of the
push her
fact that we
away.
all looked at her while she was going crazy. This has the feel of a 70s horror movie. Where everyone's like, that might be a zombie. Or
I
that
mean, I
guy's drunk. I better go hug him to find out.
again, idiot ball situation.
That's what I'm saying. It is that schlock. It's the schlock version of this doesn't seem right, but I'm gonna keep sitting right next to the thing until I'm sure. Yep, that's all my thoughts. Do you have anything else you want to add before we find out where we go from almost flying into the sun?
Yeah, I mean, I guess finally the fleet is reunited, minus all the ships that got blown up, of course.
And Amelia, I don't know if we covered this, is also now semi-part of Diamond Force, it feels like.
Oh,
Well,
she got her own fighter now.
well,
She's just like, this is mine.
she
This
took
is
a
mine now. It's
fighter
like,
from Diamond Force. It kind of
yeah,
has to either make her part of Diamond Force, or I guess technically Docker has a VF 19 as well
19,
now.
a blue one.
Oh,
Yeah,
but yeah, he's not part of Diamond Force anymore, though. Remember, he's got promoted and he's the leader of Emerald Force, which,
Emerald Squadron. Yeah.
well, the Emerald Force, I did keeping the Force motif going.
Mm.
But either implying that there's going to be a whole squadron of VF-19s, or just led by one, a VF-19 and a couple of VF-11s. That don't make sense. We've kind of been keeping the motif solid because we can reuse the animation, save some budget. Which,
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
all right, well, I guess let's go ahead and hop on in.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Because we're never going to get a new opening.
I mean, they do change up things with the narration.
Yeah, but that's post-opening. I guess my thing is I get kind of spoiled. Me and Justin did like a, I don't know what to call it, like a run-through. I caught him back up to date on Durarara, so we'd be able to watch it once a month together. And in Durarara, the opening, halfway through the opening is the recap with the background music playing. So you got the introduction of the characters happens in the opening, where you see them doing their normal thing throughout the city, and like a freeze frame when their name pops up and everything. And then you have what happened last time in the middle of it. And then you go right back to seeing them doing their normal thing throughout the city as the opening continues. So it's the same length of opening every time, but you don't have to do it next time on as soon as the show starts. Because really, we're not getting much new stuff on the narrator recap. It's just, hey, here's everything I told you last time, minus that new thing that I added last time, and maybe one thing new this time.
Macross 7とは人の住める星を求めて銀河へ飛び立った巨大な移民船団のことだ。また
Macross 1 again.
移民船団は他にもあり、銀河ネットワークという通信網
And 5, which is about to be attacked, I assume.
さて、なぜかマクロス7にはアクショと呼ばれる船団登録をしていないブロックがくっついていて、そこには熱気バサラというロックボーカリストが住んでいる。彼はライブだろうと戦闘の
Fire Valkyrie.
命がけで歌うというとんでもない男です。
Speaker mode.
しかし、もしかしたら彼の歌にはすごい力があるのではないかと人々は思い始めている。
No, they're not. They know there is. People have come out of comas. The entire,
I mean, I think people, I don't.
the entire
Yeah, but
first contact squadron that all went into comas, we know that they're all fine and fighting again now, because Dr. Chiba played music at them. And we're reunited again, so I can stop making the mistake of thinking that they're there.
Rocking Festival.
Flower Girl has no read on the environment around her. She's constantly getting knocked around.
I bet that the last thing that happens is that she finally delivers the flowers, says something, and then she leaves, and that's the end of the show.
mean, her name is in the credits as a voice slot person, and I kind of think that she's not getting a credit because she goes, huh?
I mean, that is work.
Yeah, but I gotta think there's like a minimum line to the amount of shit that you're supposed to put into a voice line. If I can hold a microphone to my dog and get the same lines you could give him.
Uh-oh. I thought she left with...
No. Giggle wants her to come back, but apparently no go. Oh no, we're one of those crowds that doesn't turn around when something bad's happening.
Oh, floating monitor. That's nice.
マックス艦長。あら、のんびりとテレビ鑑賞。大した余裕です。
How do you know what I'm watching?
艦内に潜入したヴァンパイアの住処は見つかりまして。
いえ、まだ満足していただける報告ができる状況ではありません、市長。
相変わらずです。
Oh, so you see the spiritual detector in the bottom right-hand corner?
要件を話します。シティセブンに新たな敵が侵入したことはお話しした通りです。その敵の姿を捉えた映像データをそちらに送りました。参考にしてください。
ミリア市長、いつもながらのご協力感謝します。
警備体制の強化、くれぐれもお願いいたしますわ。
Yes, we will heighten security against that person who destroyed a battleship with her bare hands. Not floating, it's on an arm mount.
こんな冷たい会話をするようになってしまったのか。
バトルセブンと無事ドッキングに成功したシティセブンの星空ホールでは盛大な祝賀フェスティバルが催されました。その際、ゲストで出演したファイヤーボンバーの歌に観客の多くは
I guess she doesn't get affected unless she's very close to Basara because she's in music and she's like, I'm still sucking up a spiritual. No problem.
Yeah.
That's pretty inconsistent.
Also, the news, the military's back, so the news is doing cover-up mode again. A bunch of people in the audience fainted.
関係機関にはすでに根回しはしてある。で、メンバーはどうするつもりなのだ。私とバサラ、さらにビヒーダ、この3名を考えています。
Oh.
できればもう一人。まさか。いえ、ミレーヌは、いや、艦長のお嬢さんは外すつもりでおります。残る一人は今のところ検討中です。
There's a girl wandering around just carrying flowers. I think she might be able to work for us.
船団。いや、宇宙を旅するすべての人々の安全を保てるかどうかの大事な計画です。メンバーは十分に考えて決めなければなりません。艦長、どんなメンバーで編成するかは自分に一任してください。
gambling?
うん、いいだろう。どのみち私では判断がつきかねる。会議の時刻だ。君にも傍聴してもらい。
Now, giant shoulder pads.
第4惑星遺跡調査部隊イリーナ早川少尉ですが、シティセブンの医師たちはファイヤーボンバーの歌によってマインドコントロールが解かれたと判断しておりますが、定かではありません。
Seems like a weird thing for gambling to be reporting on.
の判断は正しい。自分はそう思います。ファイヤーボンバー、つまりあの熱気バサラの歌エネルギーがマインドコントロールされたものに何らかの精神的効果を与えた、そう思うのであります。
千葉注意。そう決めつけるのは早計ではないかな。マインドコントローラーであるヘルメットを外したことが直接的な原因であるはずなのだから。
いや、自分はそれを証明できるデータを持っております。つまり
ドクター、細かい説明は後で聞こう。とりあえずこのものの治療は
It's not real science. The audience wouldn't care.
セブンの医師とともに治療に当たってほしい。
は、3度療法で必ず元に戻してみせます。
次の議題に移る。ミリア市長から送られた映像。これがシティセブンを襲った新たな敵の姿です。今までの敵とは違い、スピードパワーなど能力が格段に優れています。この戦いで
I guess Gamelin is the one saying all this because he's doing the debrief since he's been there.
Yeah.
それも結論は出ていません。安易に結論を出すのはどうかと。
いや、間違いない。何らかの影響を与えたのです。
まさかサウンドフォースが実現するとはな。これが直接姿を捉えた映像です。
プロトデビル。
Finally.
どうした？
Oh, he's scared.
プロトデビルンとは一体何だ？
What doesn't make the Zentradi lose their minds?
エキセドル参謀。プロトデビルンとは一体
Thanks a lot,
ゼント
Lieutenant
ラーディの
Broccoli.
血を惑わすだと。
艦長、
なんだ。
おそらくこの敵が現れた頃と思われますが、シティセブン内でゼントラー DK 市民の事故事件が多発していたのです。
Yeah, I guess in hindsight, all the people who had road rage and whatnot were only Zentradi.
マクロス5から。
今そちらのモニターにつなぎます。
マクロス5は本日未明 S1350N3605 空域の惑星に到着。我らが発見したこの星は調査の結果豊かな自然に恵まれており、地球とほぼ同じ環境であることが判明。移住を開始することに決定した。なお我が船団はこの美しき星をラクスと命名。機関が物資の補給をされたければお立ち寄りください。
ご好意。
Oh, it's the Zentradi commander.
ところで
Also
マックス
green
ミリアン艦長
uniforms.
こちらではマクロス7のファイヤーボンバーの曲が大流行りなんです。生で聴ければ市民も喜ぶと思います。ぜひお立ち寄りください。
は
So I guess that implies Macross 5 was also heading
サウン
towards
ドフォー
Galactic
スだっ
Core.
て。
そうだ。統合軍の協力でみんなでバルキリーで宇宙へ飛び出して歌う。バサラ一人ではなくてな。それがサウンドフォースだ。
はあ、マジかよ。統合軍が。
ああ。
So not spacey or
少し
anything?
はノリが分かってきたのか。楽しいじゃねえか。
ミヒーダも OK だな。
私は
ミレーヌ。
コソ泥みてえなやつだな。いつから聞いてやがった。
私はどうなるの？
ミレーヌには無理だ。危険すぎる。
なんでよ。私だってファイヤーボンバーの一員のはずよ。なんで私だけのけ者にするの？
お前には無理だって言ってんだろ。
サウンドフォースが危険ですって？冗談じゃないわよ。宇宙で敵と
Well, you just wanna kill people.
撃墜してやるわよ。
そういう根性だから外されるんだろうが。
どういう根性よ。
とにかくお前にはやらせねえよ。
何よそれ。自分勝手。
おうおう。
何がおうよ。冗談じゃないわ。
We
I guess
never-
she doesn't need to do the kiss thing anymore.
Well, she never needed to. Only when she's inhabiting people. We never got rid of the normal infiltrators. They're still on the ship, too.
アニマスピリッチア。
I think the love triangle here is Basara, Sybil, Giggle.
I mean, we don't know the relationship it has with Giggle, so.
I feel like that's what's being implied. His whole disappointment thing when she's like, leave! Oh, she's on both cards. Because I'm really feeling like this, Max Milia thing going on between Sybil and Basara.
アニマスピリッチア。
会いたかったぜ、お前に。俺の歌を聴きやがれ。
Oh, it's time to fight Sin from Final Fantasy X.
ねえレイ、私もサウンドフォースのメンバーにして、お願い。
気持ちはわかるが、これは統合軍に深く関わる部隊だ。お前を入れるわけにはいかん。
なんでよ。
マックス艦長が許すはずがない。ミリア市長もな。
そんなこと関係ないもん。私はファイヤーボンバーでしょ。ねえ、私は邪魔なの？何の役
The
にも
only
立たない
logical
の？
way this scene should end
どうして？
is with an explosion busting down the hole.
ファイヤーボンバーになんか入らなければよかった。
That's a new song.
It's way too awesome for this scene where nothing's happening. This should be playing like in the middle of an all or nothing fight. This feels so Sinfo gear to me. Okay, what exactly caused that, though?
She freaking out? I think that's because she's freaking out.
I don't think so, because, like, there's waves coming over her.
Yeah.
Like, she's created a sphere around her, but, like, Basara's, like, blasting her back.
No, she said it.
I believe I said that's exactly what was happening in our preview scene. Sorry, did she ever say her name? How do you know her name?
Oh, it ended with a... Whoa. With her clothes get turned off. He literally blew the clothes off her. At least the chest part, anyway.
No, it was a lot. I mean, same thing happened to him.
Oh, nothing?
Okay, Zoro.
Oh, there's the other infiltrators. There you go.
Kind of funky that their symbol is also like a heart-shaped thing, too. Oh, it's not. Never mind. The one scene I was looking at it from looked like a heart. I can't tell if Basara is drained or just sexually assaulted. Because it certainly didn't seem like she was draining him.
I think he was thinking he was trying, though.
I don't know. It didn't look like it. Like, she kissed him, but the last word she said was ecstasy. That's not like, didn't say that for anybody else. Because Sound Force is supposed to be fucking useless. Why do your shoulders have speakers in them if you're firing speakers at them?
I mean, if they're in close, they just might not hear the sound anyway. Oh, they do have girl walk mode.
Conceivably, they should be kind of insulated from sound as well. Lessons we didn't learn from the Millie episode where we just kept fighting around in the city.
これは信じられん。ドクター、どういうことです？ソングゲージだ。1万千葉ソングにまで上がっている。
Tibat song units. Okay.
Why not, Ran? Why not? You got the patent.
え
艦長、ミリア市長との回線がつながりません。
非常用の回線を全部開け。シティセブンへの出動には市長の許可が必要だ。艦長、
No, you don't. You're the military commander here.
何を言っているんだ。スピリチュアゲージコントロール不能。異常コード正は異常。兵器に影響。
Are we finally gonna have an effect?
Hopefully.
スピリチュア異常コード正は起点。危険度は未知数。
I'm thrown by the fact that when we zoomed on the guy's face, there was like sparks going in his cockpit, as though
Getting
they were
overloaded.
yeah, as though they were singing out his mech. I expected that they were gonna sing out like the mind control devices or something.
Or maybe they ran away before that happened.
No, I mean obviously they ran away before anything happened.
I mean, we see more effect now than ever before. Actually, like, you know, they got sparks and everything, so that's something.
Oh yeah, sure. Also, Basara sang and bent a ladder.
Okay, we have a Fembot. I guess that's for Babyfuzz? Babyfuzz?
Up to the new D-Force.
Yeah.
No, that middle one is Basara's.
Yeah.
This is Sound Force.
民間協力隊サウンドフォースの隊長に任命する。はっ。以後、統合軍のため立派に務めを果たすように。
はっ。ではサウンドフォースのメンバーを紹介いたします。熱気バサラ。
That was only 3 though, so I guess you didn't get your
熱気
4th.
バサラ前。
Unless Mylene's gonna double up with Basara, and it actually was Mylene.
今までいたんですが、照れ屋なもんで。次、ビヒーダフェイズ。そしてミレーヌ・ジーナス。
ミレーヌ。
熱気バサラを含め以上の4名がサウンドフォースのメンバーであります。
レイ、ミレーヌはメンバーから外すと言ったはずだが。
はい、しかし気が変わりました。何？艦長、メンバーは自分に任せてくれるとお約束のはずです。
確かにそうは言ったが、しかしミレーヌはまだ子供だ。
ミレーヌ・ジーナスはファイヤーボンバーにとってなくてはならない存在だと気づかされました。
Why? Oh, Chiba. Never mind. Chiba would be the answer to that one.
Yeah.
統合軍より認定書を渡す。冗談じゃねえぜ。
Everyone's starting to wear their cool new uniforms, but Basara, jeans and a t-shirt.
俺はな、軍に縛られるようなサウンドフォースだったらごめんだぜ。
Oh, cool. Then get the fuck out.
歌いたい時に歌う。それが俺のサウンドだ。行くぜ。
どういうことだね。サウンドフォースが正式に認められ、嬉しさに気が動転してるんでしょう。
Yeah, no. Don't. That's the opposite of what he said.
I mean, it's fucking dumb. I'm not gonna be bound by the military. Well, you can fucking leave then, because all of these belong to the military. Go ahead.
Except
and
for...
then, no, even his.
Well, even his. Like,
yeah, I said all of its military equipment. So, if you don't want anything from the military, go ahead and enjoy trying to solve this problem on foot with a hand guitar. Hand guitar, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. All guitars are hand.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't like the military. Ray is Well, he's retired. I'm just
Oh, he
saying.
got reincorporated now.
Yeah, well, I'm just
Like,
saying. Basara's saying, like, fuck the military. I'm not gonna be beholden to the military. Well, I mean, give back all the stuff. Oh, you don't even have to give it back. It's currently in a military hangar. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a shit attitude, and I don't appreciate it. It
Yeah.
follows the end of SDF Macross. Do you have to be in the military? I'll retire for you, sort of thing. We could just live our lives.
Well, it kind of reminds me of another character which we didn't like. Like, oh, you know, I'm a martial pacifist. I can kick ass, but the military sucks. Like, dude, they're saving your asses. Like, yeah, but I still don't like them. You know.
I got own.
ミレーヌこそ遅れるな。俺の歌に合わせろ。ガムリンさんくらい。バラバラじゃねえか。次回メリーゴーランド。過激にファイヤー。
Of course, Gamelin's down. You joined a military force, and you're now with
Yeah.
Basara. It's like, fuck, man. Obviously there's only 3. I don't know what they are. I guess maybe they're all VF-19s.
Yeah.
You joined one. You're gonna be riding around Basara. This is what I said before. When Gamlin is like angry at Basara for being a supposed womanizer, because Mylene's upset, and you're like agreeing with it, and I'm like, no. Gamlin's point of view should be like, keep doing it, Basara. You know, if you wind up with somebody else, Mylene's gonna be free and not in this love triangle that I don't understand.
Yeah, but that's just very treating Mylene like somebody can be traded around. Like, oh, hey,
No,
the
it's not
spot's
even.
not taken. So
No, it's treating her
now I
like
can have
somebody.
her.
It's treating her like somebody to be fought for, and you're not fighting for her if you're like pushing her towards somebody else. You don't push.
Fight for anybody.
You don't fight for
People
anybody. You are not a fan of romance, are you?
I'm not a fan of people treating people like objects, which is what the whole concept it boils down to.
Objectification has nothing to do with romance. This is a weird
has
conversation that we're in right now.
It actually does have. I mean, a lot of romance tropes. It's like, oh, if I play my cards right, she's gonna be mine. It's like, what happens when she wants? Huh? Are we asked about that?
Well, you do, in that if she didn't, she wouldn't, right?
If she wants to be with you, she's gonna be with you. She's gonna be with somebody else, that'll be somebody else. That's just the way.
So you have the point of view that you should never try to influence your own fate.
No, I influence my fate by doing my thing.
Right. But you understand that you exist in a society where every action you take influences somebody else, whether you know it or not. Yeah, so you shouldn't try to influence your own fate by trying to suggest to other people the way that things should happen.
I let people do what they want to do. If my actions are sufficiently enough for people to value them, they're gonna value them. If they're not, they're not.
You're the guy from Mars Attacks who said in the background, I knew if I just stayed silent, kept nodding my head, something good would happen.
I mean, no. I mean, because we're talking about people making choices here. So if Basara wants to be a womanizer, okay, he's a womanizer, fine. I would caution Mylene, listen, don't get involved with that because that's bad for you. But that would be the extent of it. I wouldn't
so now you're
it.
telling Mylene that what she should know.
You know, well, I just tell her, give it on, and she does with that information what she wills, right? If she still wants to be in that situation,
so it's fine to tell Mylene what she should do, but it's not fine to tell Basara to keep doing what he's doing.
But why would I tell him to keep being a shitty person?
If he's already being a shitty person, why is it your job to try and save Mylene, but not save Basara? Or
because I actually care about Mylene.
Right. So my point is, encourage Basara to be Basara.
No, let Basara be whoever he's gonna be. He's showing himself to be a shitty person. That's for everybody, plain for everybody to see.
The weirdness of this right now is that the end effect is exactly the same as what I said anyway.
Not necessarily, because that doesn't mean that Mylene is going to choose gambling. Just because
clearly it appears like she's not.
So
I'm just saying, from Gamlin's perspective, it's great if Basara keeps being what he's doing. He should encourage it, and
No,
I'm even
because
saying that from like
I
a
think
joking aspect mostly because it's a funny like I don't know 80s trope to be like, yeah, man,
yeah.
you're getting me in the good graces because you're being an asshole. But it I don't know. I prefer Gamlin being proactive, and you apparently think proactive is a bad thing.
I mean, no, he should. He can go on dates. He can keep courting Mylene. That's what he wants. Besides the age gap. Actually, he's still a teenager, so technically, no, there's not much of an age gap.
No,
Um,
he is the age of majority. Mylene isn't. In the age
yeah.
when this show is being recorded, which was the 90s, I think the age of
Mhm.
majority was 16 or 14. I can't tell. I think it was 16 in Japan. This is
Yeah.
why a lot of
And
anime media, specifically from the 90s, is very weird in America.
anyway, he just does his thing, and if she appreciates it, then and as a first and foremost, be a good friend. Don't expect you're gonna get anything out of it. Do the right thing for the right reasons.
Go out there, try and get what you want. Two different, two different points of view for you here from the audience.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I can't remember what I was going to talk about from the show anymore. This was a massive tangent. At least it was show related this time, though.
I mean, I found it weird that I guess up they made a green mech and then a pink mech
I think the problem is that
with boobs. With boobs.
I think the
This is
problem
a
is that the only way this works out, I feel like, is if Ray is in the pink mech.
It doesn't seem to be that way. The way it was presented, it was like, oh, the giant robot with boobs, that's for the female character, and the green boring mech is for the former pilot.
Well, here's the problem I'm facing is that either we're going to be introduced to a new mech that wasn't one of those three next episode, or we're doing the thing where Basara and Mylene ride together, which then
Probably.
means we're putting Vivitas in the giant pink mech. That doesn't seem
Yeah.
right. Vivitas should be in the giant green mech. Her
Green mech.
color scheme is green, which
Yeah.
means the only mech remaining is the pink boobed mech, which has to be Ray's mech.
Yeah. But why? I mean, are we gonna end up with
Maybe he's
booby
doing
missile
the
or
video
booby?
game thing, right? Where I want to
Mhm.
ride the mech that I feel comfortable looking at.
Is it? No, it might turn out that those boobies are actually
Rocket
speakers
launchers? Ah, went with
or
different
rocket
ways.
launchers. Yeah, that
You
too. I
love
already
the
said rocket.
caliber of her, whatever the Austin Powers joke is.
Well, that actually comes all the way from Messenger Z, but that's Go Nagai for you. So yeah, where literally there was two female robots, and their main the first one only weapon were booby missiles, and then the second one had booby missiles and a beam attack, but still had the booby missiles.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sold on the concept of Sound Force right now, especially because they were like, it's time to do this thing, and we haven't seen it work ever. What the only real Sound Force works right now is if they do
Mhm.
like concerts for people in comas. Because the only thing that's worked so far.
I mean, that's what I've been saying from the very beginning, right? And I guess it would make more sense again if we had skipped like 10 episodes and developed it this much quicker. Like, oh, we're working up to this, but then we had the whole City 7 arc and the civil. I mean, I guess if we also factor in the fact that it seems to be affecting Sybil, right? Oh, we have a new enemy. Although gambling is like, oh, I don't get it. Just so what? I mean, this whole sound thing is just like, and she goes, no, I have all this information. Okay, that's what you said, but my experience, these guys blow up good when I shoot them. That's all I need to know, right?
Again, and I guess it's the knowledge that there are people in there, humans rather, mind
Yeah.
controlled human. That's basically like, I don't know, like wearing a hostage shield constantly.
I
So
mean, they don't. I mean, the UN forces don't care. They fight them. They
I
kill
mean,
them. They don't care.
from a practical perspective, somebody attacking you has to be stopped. But
Yeah.
if you could prevent them from attacking you, because you do know that they're being brainwashed, then you
Yeah.
might take proactive action for that. It's
But
just
that's
that
also
Sound
oh,
Force has not been shown to do anything about that.
yeah.
All Sound Force does, Sound Force should be like that group that goes to like oh shit, what are they called? Hospice
USO.
wards. Well, try to entertain the kids or whoever who happens to be there. That the oh god, what's the Robin Williams movie where Patch Adams these people, laughter is the best medicine, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I guess in my ideal situation, until we get more information, that what should be happening here is that we should be focusing on Gamlin as our main character and his experiences in D-Force, like losing friends and whatnot, and that Basara and gang should have been background characters that should be dealing with the people in the comas. So, are eventually, oh man, Docker was such a cool character up until he got his brain drained or whatever the fuck we want to call it. And then, boom, he's back in the fight again, better than ever. Ooh, good moment.
Yeah, but again, we have Basara essentially as the quote unquote main character. Well, Mylene as well. And we have him like, oh, I'm a pacifist. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna be part of the military. Blah blah blah. They're the people doing all the fighting and saving lives. Because all I do is wreck the city. But sure, whatever.
Yeah, conceivably, without the people that Basara like degrades, the entire city would have been run over, right? if
Well,
if they didn't do the job that he like yells at them for doing, he'd be still in the middle of the city by himself. Everyone's in a fucking coma, having to play this song 24/7 so that he doesn't get destroyed.
Yeah.
It would be like a zombie apocalypse scenario where he's the sole survivor, trying not to fall asleep or he's gonna go down.
Yeah. And he keeps talking like that's the thing. It's like Bizarra keeps talking like he knows what he's doing. Oh, I'm just gonna do this, but he doesn't explain it. And when people press him, it's like, oh, it's just the thing I do. Like, really?
Well,
Yeah, it's the
we
thing I
know.
do. I rigged. You know what? Well, do we know? Because we don't know why he's a pacifist. We don't know where he comes from.
No,
And we
not
don't
the
know why
background.
he.
I covered this in the discussion that we don't know his background and the people closest to him. Ray knows, but Ray hasn't said anything to literally the closest people to Ray. But I mean, we know about the music effects and everything like that. We know what he's trying to do.
But we don't know why he's trying to do that.
I mean, I don't know that that's important yet.
It is. I mean, he's so insistent on it. Like, you don't get it. Okay, well, tell me. I'm not gonna explain it. It's like, God damn it, just explain it so people can get in. And then
I think my problem with that is that you're thinking that's gonna make it good, and I'm not betting on that. Basara is an annoying ass character. Knowing why he's doing something isn't gonna make him less annoying.
I mean, I want the show to tell me what show me why this is happening, through Basara or someone else, right? Either Ray says, like, okay, this is what we're doing. Boom. I mean, I get the whole. I mean, even Ray is like, oh no, we're joining the military. Well, we're civilians, but we're playing our pledging ourselves to the military. Basara's like, oh fuck you, old man, I'm doing my own thing, and he's like, yeah, no, he's just.
That's what I'm saying.
Basara didn't mean that.
Basara is an annoying character. He's not going to change. So learning Basara's whys or his mysteries, not gonna make him less annoying.
So he's just a flat character who doesn't have any growth whatsoever. Everyone else changes, but he's the flat character that just keeps
still
doing
got
the same
time.
thing.
I just don't see it happening. My point is that we kind of know why the music stuff is important and what it's supposed to be doing, or at least in the moment, we kind of know what it's supposed to be doing. And they're failing at it, but we know it probably is going to get there. Basara has a mystery built around him we're supposed to be asking, but like I said, I don't think that's going to change anything. Basara is going to be an annoying asshole when we don't know who he is. He is going to be an annoying asshole after we find out. Like, he could have the most touching backstory we've ever heard. Like, he's doing everything for great reasons. you're still going to be able to go back and remember about how he tried to stop people from saving other people. And, nothing's going to really change. He was an asshole, and he's still an asshole. That's the problem with Basara. That's the problem with the main character. Mylene at least has the defense of, she's a, like, preteen girl just trying to...
A teenager. 14.
Well, she's 14. It's preteen is young adult. She is, well, I don't know, young adult's still older than 14, isn't it?
She's just a teen.
I know, but I feel like there's a difference between 16 and up and 15 and below.
She's a teen.
16 and up is like closer to the age. Oh, I can almost start drinking. I can almost start smoking. I can start working and getting a car license. We're 14 and below. You're kind of still expected to be.
She already drives, so that's.
Well, I mean, 14 and below, you're still expected to do more childish things. I don't know. It feels like that's in my mind, it's like a dividing line. I don't know. It's all still illegal, is all I'm saying. But one is closer to maturity than the other. And I thought it had a name, so clearly I'm just flustered right there.
Preteen is, I think, 10 to 12.
Yeah, no, I know I got the wrong word there, because obviously, as you pointed out, teen isn't the name. But my point is that she's, like, rebellious against her parents, everything like that. She's doing that whole motif, where at least she also sees the pragmatism in fighting the bad guys.
Yeah.
But
now she seems to be being won over by Basara's thinking, apparently.
Well, because she's also seeing the effect. I mean, I got more stuff, but I think we should go ahead and wrap up there. Anything else you want to add before then?
No, I'm hoping that we're halfway. We're less than halfway through the show, because the show has 49 episodes plus OVAs. I'm hoping that we actually do pick up the pace, because this episode seemed to pick up the pace, but then we're back to Basara just being Basara. Again, that's the thing. The Basara is sort of like the wedge, right? You want to open the door all the way, and he's like, boom, Basara being the wedge. You can't open the door anymore. Like, just Basara, get out of your... Because I feel Basara is literally in his own way by doing his own thing. It's like, oh, I'm just going to sing. It's like, dude, communicate. At least, you can coordinate with some other people. Get on the same page. Because even when he's talking to Ray, he's like, Ray has to go like, that's Basara for you. Like, they just have it reminds me of the last episode of SCF1 where people finally talk to each other and were like, oh yeah, he's in love with me. I'm in love with him. Sorry. He's not along with you anymore. Okay, let's be adults about this. I'm going to do my own thing. Thank you very much. It's heartbreaking, but we're going to deal with that. If we just had a short scene where Ray just sits down Basara and Basara, listen, Basara, this is life and death here. Stop your bitching. Stop your whining. Stop your crazy drinks about being the rock star of the universe. And let's get this done. This is about life and death. And either Basara goes like, I don't get it, man. I'm just doing my thing. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do it. Either way, right? But we haven't had that yet. And it feels like that should have happened like 10 episodes ago. Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's where we're wrapping up for today. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?